Hey, this is Trader Travis, and I just wanted to record this video because, I was listening to a message the other day, and I was just reminded of how humble I am every single day that I go out into the world. I saw a picture of a guy like this, and I think about so many people right now. They're working long hours away from their family. There are a lot of people who desperately want financial freedom, and they have no clue about the power of options trading. And when I think about that, I have a sense of gratitude because me, as an individual option trader, as a retail guy, a regular guy who learned this skill, I have the ability to make upwards of, right now I'm looking at the profit and loss column in my account. It's showing it's fluctuating because this is a real time I'm recording. So let's do $362, okay? $362 a day times 31 days out a month. That's $11,222. So I have a skill that allows me to do that, and it's going up as I'm recording this, all right? Now, I do this by trading options, stock options. And there is some mom out there, or dad, that's who I think about. They're working 16 hours a day just to live paycheck to paycheck, and knowing how to do this, make this type of money, and I'm not technically working. Obviously, look, I'm making this money as I'm recording this video. So it's not like I'm working to make the money works for itself. But there are some mom and dad trading their time for money. Okay, they don't get paid unless they work. I'm getting paid and I'm not working for this money. And so when I think about that mom and dad working in that, long hours, that's why I created our website. I'm standing on a mountaintop. I'm saying, hey, there's a better way. I grew up poor, and this skill helped me to become financially independent while I was still in my 30s. And I didn't start until I was in my late 20s. And so that short time frame sure beats 40 plus years working for a company with no guarantee of a secure retirement. And I had been trading 9 years in silence and secrecy. Only my family know about it before I became a public figure and before anybody knew about me. When you become a public figure, there's always that thing. Look, I'm not the only one making this type of money. There's always this skeptical thought process out there. These skills are transferable. All right. This is not a skill where the guru makes all the money, yet his students suffer with lackluster performance. And so I want to show you just a couple of the stories from a few private clients I took on and teaching the skill. Okay, here's one right here. This lady doubled her retirement account during the 2007-2009 bear market, and I won't read the whole story. Her professional money managers, squandered all her money. So she took it back. She learned options trading, and here's what she was putting. She was still bothered that they charged her tens of thousands of dollars in fees to lose money. Okay, they lost her money and still got paid. Now that's criminal to me. All right. But here she says she has a skill. She can rebuild her retirement account and create a weekly earning for life. And she increased her account by 163%. 163%. She took control of her future and she did that. Okay. Here's Harry, another guy. I take my hat off to Harry because when others were giving up on investing, he was still out there learning. All right. Now, his gains aren't probably as impressive as 163%, but they're still better than what the mutual funds are doing. All right. So he took it small and steady. He said, I'd rather build wealth $100 at a time. So he made a profit of $200 on a couple of trades here, 27% return on his investment in only 5 days. Here's another one. He made a profit of $340, a 35% return on his investment in another few days. Okay, here's another guy. All right, this guy we had a trade contest and he won our trade contest. And let's see, I can't remember exactly what he did. I think he had like 100 and something % return. Here it is. Yep. We had a trade contest where I said, okay, you learn, then do. So go out there and practice what you learn. And so he won our trade contest because he produced overall, his highest trade produced 124% return on investment. Okay, here's Roger, another guy who's a serial course taker. He's taken all these different option courses. All of them turn out to be duds, a bunch of crap people are selling. And so he took our course and he said, look, I learned more in 5 weeks than I got out of the 20,000 plus seminars and online courses. And so then he went and he put his results here. Where's his results? Okay, so it's so much here. I'm just trying to scan through it real quick to keep the video short. So he found 8 options. One would have returned over 100%. He cashed in on 2. His largest ones were 230% return on his investment. One was almost 300%. 8 more cashed in about an average of 65% return on his investments in 2 weeks or less. No fooling. He had 4 triples, 8 doubles. No options were held over 2.5 weeks. And, one of the key things is you have to take responsibility for your results in life. And he did that. And he put our classes, expertise, and our desire to help others like him helped him succeed. That $20,000 worth of courses, seminars, videos, and DVDs could not. But here's a key point. Maybe it was my fault that I didn't get it. Okay, he took responsibility. He said, you know what, maybe it wasn't the courses, maybe it was him, but in 2 weeks, after taking a 5-week course, he hit doubles and triples. And he says, anyone who wants to paint that as a coincidence, grab a brush and start stroking. I love Roger. He has a sense of humor. Okay, that's just those stories. But here's one that really blew me away. Okay, here's an email, and I am not really the techiest person. It takes me forever in a day to put stuff on the website. So mainly I just sit on like hundreds of emails of these type of stories. But here's a guy who's just saying happy 2012, and I'll just make this short and quick. Okay. Now 2011. Okay. Let me show you this. All right. Here's Money Magazine, January 5th, 2012. They put out an article on their front page in their money section. Okay. The average stock mutual fund lost 2.9%. Okay, in the year 2011. So in the year 2011, the average stock mutual fund lost 2.9%. That's the professionals. Okay, here's an email from a regular old guy who decided to invest in himself and his education. Okay, hey, thanks. I ended up increasing my options portfolio by 30% in 2011. Okay, I could stop just right there, just alone that, but I won't. Why? Because you don't know what you don't know. And as I'm coming back here to this account now, look, these trades are up $420. Okay, $420 times 31 days out the month equals 13,000. Now this fluctuates. It's not always 400. On average, it's usually about $300 a day. So this fluctuates. All right, but you're getting a picture of what's possible with options trading. Now I invested roughly, $11,000 in myself and my education and learning skill. And I passed on my knowledge to someone else, okay? They're now passing on their knowledge of trading to their kids and loved ones. And that's why I said you don't know what you don't know. And what you haven't known is that behind the scenes, we're secretly solving the unemployment problem. And to me, the unemployment problem is an education problem. People need to be educated that there's other ways to make money in the world other than going to stand in a long, job fair line just to hand your resume to someone who's 30 years younger than you, and then you're going to tap dance for them so they can give you a job. Now, I hate the thought of even doing this, and I pray to God I never have to do that again. Now, I don't want to say I'll never do that again because we know how that goes when you say never, but I'll say there's a slim chance. And here's why. Because if someone came and robbed me of my house and robbed me of all my bank accounts and, they left me broke, penniless, the one thing they can't take away from me is the knowledge in my head. All right. The knowledge in my head that allows me to do what you see right here. Okay. Give me a couple of months of working at Starbucks to raise up some cash. I'll have all my money back in like a year or something. And that's why I always tell people investing in yourself and investing in your education is one of the most valuable things you can do. And it's just not any education. Let me be clear. Not just any education. It's the right education. And the right education is learning the skill of options trading because it allows you to make money in both up and down markets. So yes, you can make money when stocks fall in price. And let me show you. Okay. Here are the trades I'm in right now. These trades that are producing as we record this, $472 a day. Okay, AXP, EEM, JPM, PM, SPG, SPY. Okay, let's pull up those stocks. AXP. So let me pull up a 3-month chart through this so you can see it. Okay, AXP now is down today, 30 cents. So, and it's been down the last few days here. Let's pull up EEM. EM has been dropping like a rock recently. All right, so whoever owns that is most likely losing money, but as you just saw, we're making money. JPM, this person they're losing money to the tune of 20 billion. Stock is dropping like a rock. Everybody's getting out of it. All right. But what are we doing? We're in a trade. All right. I bought a put option here. Put options allow you to make money when stocks fall. All right. $97 a day. Okay. Here's another one. PM is the next one we're in. PM, that's going down also. Well, actually, that's up. So I think that's one of the losers I have here. PM, and let's look at it. PM. Yep, I'm losing on that one today because I'm in a trade that allows me to make money when stocks fall. The stock is not falling. It's going up. So I'm actually losing money. So if this stock falls in price, I actually start making money again, which is weird. It takes a while to wrap your brain about that. Just don't try to understand it. Just know it's possible. You can make a lot of money when stocks fall. You actually make more money when stocks fall than when they rise. And we won't get into that here because it'll make the video like an hour long. But SPG is down today. That one is falling. And good old SPY, the ETF of the S&P 500. 500. That's falling down today, fell right below its level of support here not too long ago. Level of support. Support is like a price area that acts as a floor or a barrier that holds prices above that level. Well, when prices fall through that level, that generally means that there's a strong indication that they may fall even further. So we are anticipating that the stock market is going to drop some more here in the near future. Now, these trades are all profitable, today, and all of these stocks except the one I'm losing money on are all falling. And so what's the point I'm trying to make? Well, the point I'm trying to make is that forget the fact that you can make money when stocks fall in price. Forget the fact that, yes, these trades are making $456 a day. This is my money. Showing you how much money I make does not put money in your pocket, which is why I hate showing my trades, which is why I don't spend a lot of time showing people how much money we make. Because at the end of the day, that doesn't help you. At the end of the day, that doesn't put any money in your pocket. My students know I spend most of my time teaching them how to do what I do, putting the power in their hands. And what I want to encourage you to do is educate yourself. Because if you remain exactly the same today as you were yesterday, all you're doing is guaranteeing that your tomorrow will be no better than today. And so if you want your tomorrow to look like this, if you want your tomorrow to be better than your current financial situation, then you're going to have to do something different than what you're doing right now today. The good news is I have nothing to sell you in this video because honestly, I don't care who you learn from. All I care is that you learn, okay? I just care that first you decide, hey, I want to learn about this option trading, Find someone you trust and find someone that you feel is a good fit for you. Then roll up your sleeves and put in the necessary work to succeed. And yes, I did just say that bad word, work, W-O-R-K, because the biggest key to my success was the day I realized that, dreams don't pay bills. I realized that, I've actually have to do some work, Imagine that. I thought that the money would just show up in my account because I wanted it so bad. So all I want to do is just say, first decide you want a better life, okay? Then commit to putting in the work to make that happen. And then when you succeed, send me your success story because my family and I want to rejoice that yet another person found freedom like we have. So you take care and I'll talk to you soon.